Hey friends, welcome to Finlyn Media. How many of you do run to the nearest power socket with low battery laptops? That's no fun, especially with everyone working and learning from home these days in various corners of the house that may not have a convenient socket nearby. Luckily, modern laptops are much more efficient. Nowadays, even inexpensive laptops and some gaming giants can last for more than 8 hours on a single charge. Still, the inconvenient truth is that battery in your PC or Mac laptop won't last as long as the manufacturer advertises unless you pay attention to some key factors: your power settings, how many apps you are running, and even the temperature of the room in which you are working. The good news is that none of this requires much work to sort out. Once you know which settings to adjust, let's take a look at the least effort ways to get the most out of your laptop's battery. Before we look further, if you're watching my video for the first time, please do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell button for notifications. Let's continue on to the video. Use the Windows battery performance slider. The first stop on our battery's life betterment tour is the Windows 10 battery performance slider. It aims to group all of the settings that affect battery's life into a few easy to understand categories. The company that made your PC determines exactly which settings the battery slider controls, but in general, keep these guidelines in your mind. The best performance mode is for people willing to trade off battery runtime to gain speed and responsiveness. In this mode, Windows won't stop apps running in the background from consuming a lot of power. The better performance mode limits resources from background apps, but it otherwise prioritizes power over efficiency. The better battery mode delivers long battery life than the default settings on previous versions of Windows. It's actually labeled recommended on many PCs. The battery saver mode, a slider choice that will appear only when your PC is unplugged, reduces the display brightness by 30%, prevents Windows Update downloads, stops the mail app from syncing, and suspends most background apps. Number 2. Use battery settings on Mac OS. Apple's MacBook Air and MacBook Pro laptops don't have a battery slider similar to Windows PCs. Although many of the same settings described on the previous point are present in Energy Saver preferences. To open it, click on the spotlight magnifying glass icon in the upper right corner of the screen. Search for Energy Saver and then click on the Battery tab. If you want to approximate the Windows Better Battery or Battery Saver modes, make sure to follow the options that you could see on the screen now. Put hard disk to sleep when possible and slightly dim the display while battery power. Both are checked. And the option enable power nap while on battery power is unchecked. With power nap enabled and your MacBook asleep, the machine will awake up now and then to check for updates. Disabling it keeps your MacBook fully asleep until you choose to wake it up. On recent MacBook Pro laptops, the display brightness adjusts to 75%. When you unplug the computer from power, if you have slightly dimmed the display while on battery power enabled. So, if you want the best battery life, should you use battery saver all the time? Not exactly, because battery saver mode disables some useful features. You might want to use it only when the battery is below 20% and a power outlet isn't near you. Likewise, turning off power nap can mean it will take longer to catch up on notifications that you've missed while you are away from your MacBook. That's why most users should use better battery setting and enable power nap most of the time. Number 3. Simplify your workflow, closing apps and using airplane mode. On the other hand, if you're writing a novel or playing a local video file and don't need to be distracted by notifications, it's fine to enable battery saver. It's a good habit to adjust your laptop use in more battery conserving way, such as by sticking to one app at a time and closing everything else when you're not using it. It's a bit like turning off the lights when a room is vacant. If you're going back and forth between the kitchen and the pantry all the time, or between Firefox and Word, by all means keep both sets of lights and apps on and open. But if you are just cooking or just watching a YouTube video, you'll be best served by turning off and closing everything else. In addition to shutting down other programs while you single task, consider enabling airplane mode in Windows or turning off Wi-Fi and Bluetooth in Mac OS, especially if you know you'll be editing a document with no need for web access. In addition to reducing distractions, airplane mode eliminates a significant source of battery drain. Not only wireless radios themselves, but also the background apps and processes that constantly use them, such as updaters and push notifications. Number 4. Close specific apps that use lots of power. Multiple apps and processes running on your computer will chew through battery life more quickly, and chances are you probably aren't actively using everything that's currently running on your PC. In Windows 10, the Settings app is the first step to find energy-hogging programs. Simply type "See which apps are affecting your battery life" into Windows 10 search bar for a list of apps that are consuming the most power. If you see an app that you rarely use, consuming a lot of power, make sure you close it. Often, these are apps you opened in the background and forgotten about. Next, type "See which processes start up automatically when you start Windows" into the search bar. This will open the Task Manager's Startup tab, which lists every utility that runs as soon as you start your PC. Anything with the name like Download Assistant or Helper is usually safe to be disabled. For example, unless you frequently open Spotify playlists, tracks, or albums for links in a web browser, you can disable the Spotify web helper. To get rid of similar apps in Mac OS, search for Users and Groups, and then click for Login Items tab, where you'll find a list of apps that runs in the background when you start up your Mac. Number 5. Adjust graphics and display settings. If you have a powerful graphics processor in your laptop, you can ensure that only games and other graphic-intensive apps need to use it, while everything else can get by using the more efficient CPU's graphics processing. If your system makes use of GeForce graphics, open the GeForce control panel, typically found in the Windows notification area on the right side of the taskbar. Then click on the Program Settings tab to assign each app to a specific graphics processing chip. Allocate the GeForce chip to games, photo and video editing apps like Adobe Photoshop and Premiere, while assigning everything else to the integrated chip. To perform a similar assignment on a Mac, search for Energy Saver and make sure the automatic graphics switching option is checked. You don't have the same kind of fine-tuned control over each program like you do in the GeForce panel, so you'll have to trust Mac OS's judgment when it comes to which app would use which graphics accelerator. Number 6. Take heed of airflow. Most laptops now come with lithium polymer batteries that requires much less maintenance than batteries of a decade ago. Thanks as much to software and firmware improvements as innovation in the battery technology itself. You no longer have to perform a full battery discharge on a regular basis to calibrate it. Neither do you have to worry that draining the battery completely will damage your laptop. You do have to be careful about it, however, which will fasten the battery's end. The biggest problem comes from physical obstruction of ventilation ports. Dust buildup is one problem which you can take care of by cleaning the laptop's vents and fan. Regularly use a can of compressed air to blow out some of the dust. A more frequent issue that crops up, though, is using the laptop on a pillow or blanket, which can both obstruct the ventilation fan and retain the heat coming off of the system. Avoid this by using your laptop only on firm surfaces, such as a table or a desk, which won't flex and block airflow or cooling. Number 7. Keep an eye on your battery's health. All batteries lose charging capacity over time and will eventually need to be replaced. Taking stock of a battery's health now and then is always a good idea. To see if your MacBook's battery is nearing the end of its lifespan, hold the Option key. Click the battery icon in the menu bar to reveal the battery status. If you see a Replace Now or Service Battery message, your battery is likely functioning far below its original capacity. You can find more detailed information on how many charging cycles your battery has gone through by opening the System Information app and navigating to the Power tab. Check the cycle count value against a rated maximum in Apple's list to know how many more cycles you've got left. For an equivalent battery's health indicator in Windows 10, you will need to roll up your sleeves, search into the world of command prompts. If you need a complete guide on that, please do let me know in the below comment section, where I'm more than happy to post another video on how to do it. Number 8. Review the battery management settings. Some recent laptops can now automatically monitor the temperature history and charging patterns of the battery. Via software from the manufacturer, this information can be used to adjust full charging to remain below 100% of the battery's capacity. If you don't regularly use it, reducing the number of charging cycles can help prolong the battery's life. It's a good idea to use this monitoring, but if you'd rather disable this management software to ensure you're always charging the battery to maximize capacity, manufacturers let you do it. On a Mac OS, choose System Preferences from the Apple's menu. Then click Energy Saver. Click Battery Health. Deselect the Battery Health Management option. Then click OK. Instructions vary by manufacturer for Windows laptops. I have left the link in the below description field for Dell's how-to guide. Please do check that out for Windows PC guide. Number 9. Carry a battery backup. Finally, the easiest way to ensure that you always have enough battery power is to bring along an external battery pack. These external power sources plug into your laptop the same way your charger does. They generally cost between $100 to $200, but come with adapters for use with many different laptop models. They can be used on more than one system and even for other devices such as your phone or tablet. These strategies will help you make the most of the battery you have. Hope you like this video. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe this channel and hit the bell button in order to be notified as soon as I post a video.